Conspiracy theories cover a great range of topics. Area 51, the Illuminati, the Earth is flat, anti vaccine beliefs, misinformation spreading like wildfire, spreading mass paranoia and fear about the world's state of corruption and lies. A lot of these conspiracies are, well, downright depressing to hear about, especially those that harm society on a bigger level. So, for today, I thought I'd share a more lighthearted conspiracy, one that greatly connects to a band loved worldwide and a band that I continue to love and adore today. In the mid-60s, the Beatles were a global sensation, originating in Liverpool and capturing the hearts of listeners worldwide. In America, they quickly climbed and dominated the charts, inspiring the rock and roll scene for many years to come. Now, fame always comes with hardcore fans. Showing love to an influencer can manifest in many different ways, and more often than it should, fans go absolutely crazy over the people they admire. This is where the conspiracy "Paul is dead" comes in. I'll start off with introducing the man himself, Paul McCartney. Paul garnered plenty of fans from taking the role as one of the Beatles' songwriters and lead vocalists. Now that we know the man, here's the conspiracy that followed his legacy. The prevailing narrative for Paul is Dead is that Paul McCartney was killed in a car crash in 1966, and that the man known as Paul in the Beatles was merely an imposter. Upon hearing something for the first time as a kid, I thought to myself, what the hell? How could something so baseless and silly even be considered the truth? I'm not gonna lie, my position hasn't really changed in the slightest. I mean, it goes without saying that all conspiracies are really out there when it comes to having any proof or basis. But after looking into it, it's so much more absurd than I had originally thought. So, the true origins of this theory are muddled and unclear, but according to the Rolling Stones article, Paul McCartney is Dead conspiracy, one event is well known for really kickstarting the theory into popularity. On October 12, 1969, radio host Russ Gibb, the guy on the screen, received a call from a mysterious anonymous listener. The listener had a very specific request: spin the intro of Revolution 9, a somewhat cryptic sounding song on one of their big albums. It was clear that the conspiracy had already been spread a bit already, but Gibb brought it to a whole new level. Upon playing the song, he claimed to have heard a secret message: "Turn me on, dead man. Turn me on, dead man." Gibb and his listeners were shocked, scared, and confused, and the hints to Paul's death didn't end there. He played another cryptic Beatles song, "Strawberry Fields Forever." Lo and behold, there was another message: "I buried Paul. I buried Paul." This was the point of no return. Fans of the Beatles started experiencing a whole new type of mania. They began to pick apart each and every new album to prove their deranged theory. More and more songs were being analyzed for hints. The Beatles Forever by Nicholas Schaffner included some of the bigger ones. The portion between the songs I'm So Tired and Blackbird, which played consecutively in their White Album, had a big one: "Paul is dead, man. Miss him. Miss him." Eventually, due to the craze, the Paul is Dead conspiracy hit the Michigan Daily on October 14, 1969, with a satirical article written by Fred LeBour, just 2 days after Gibbs' radio show. In this article, LeBour picked apart every detail of Abbey Road's cover, the Beatles' new album, which came out just a few weeks prior. He used small, insignificant details to make the point that the album cover was meant to represent an obituary for Paul. According to him, the three other members, being John, Ringo, and George, represented the minister, the undertaker, and the gravedigger, while Paul was wearing attire similar to how a British corpse is buried. And the best evidence, maybe not the most credible, but one of the more absurd ones to me, was that Paul had been holding the cigarette in his non-dominant hand. This could only mean one thing: the current Paul was an imposter. According to Michigan Today, the paper had sold out by mid-morning, and a second printing was ordered right away to reach the demands of their fans. As if nitpicking and overanalysis of the Beatles' work wasn't enough, a whole new level of insanity was reached and publicized on the New York talk show. Alex Bennett, one of the hosts, made the conspiracy their main topic of discussion. People would call in, stating their theories and half-baked evidence. The one that really stuck out to me was from a caller named Louis Yeager. Like any other caller, he had what he believed to be solid evidence towards Paul's death. The evidence being his girlfriend had prophetic dreams of Paul's death weeks prior to the estimated date of his estimated death. Eventually, these theories became so big that the Beatles themselves had become aware. and obviously they had a word or two to say to refute the claims. John Lennon, the founder and co-leader of the Beatles, said, "I don't know what Beatles records sound like backwards. I never play them backwards," to refute the claims about cryptic messages found within the song. Upon being told the message, "I buried Paul," supposedly repeated in Strawberry Fields Forever, John said the words were really just cranberry sauce. It's a bit odd for a song named after strawberries, if I must say so myself, but I guess he thought differently. Even the photographer for Abbey Road, Ian McMillan, pitched in, denying claims from Fred LeBour, insisting that they had just been wearing their usual attire in the cover for Abbey Road. And of course, the star of the conspiracy, Paul, also had something to say about this strange talk surrounding him. After an interview from the Rolling Stone in 1974, Paul said, "Someone from the office rang me up and said, 'Paul, you're dead.' And I said, 'Oh, I don't agree with that.'" Even with all these rebuttals, Paul is dead never really died out. Ironic, huh? It still prevails today, making it a whole 60 years of people looking for clues and information regarding Paul's death. It's also considered a precursor to the ongoing phenomenon of the many absurd modern conspiracy theories people have, such as Tupac is alive, Stevie Wonder can see, and Taylor Swift is gay. Regardless of this conspiracy not exactly causing much harm, actually, if anything, it made the Beatles a greater topic of discussion. I think the absurdity of this conspiracy comes from the fact that people actually genuinely did believe it. If I had to categorize it, I would consider it to be misinformation, shared without the intent to deceive but shared regardless. In my opinion, the motivation for this misinformation was definitely social. It brought Beatles fans together in strange ways, fans coming together to share the newest evidence to Paul's death, or fans adamantly denying that the proof was credible. It's also very apparent that the fact that radio and newspapers covered it was the biggest reason as to why it became as big as it was. People would hear the radio hosts they listened to for credible information talk about something entirely false, and they take it at face value, joining in for the bandwagon. I think the funniest part of the theory is how it happens to be almost purposeless other than entertainment for those who believe it or pretend to believe in it. It's in a contrast to the pretty grim belief of somebody being dead, which usually isn't something taken lightly. While I never believed in it myself, it's always a fun topic of discussion to bring up to people who like the Beatles. It's a form of bonding and banter and a silly piece of trivia to those who are not aware. Thank you for listening.